programming on the KBIS Next Stage is presented by the NKBA and sponsored by our incredible industry partner, Home Advisor. Our goal for the KBIS Next Stage is to keep KBIS attendees not only informed, but entertained throughout the course of the 3 days. We'll be presenting speakers and panels and diving into topics to help the industry and those who work in kitchen and bath design by staying on the leading edge of industry topics. We're kicking off the show with one of 4 sessions, 2 today and 2 tomorrow, called KBB Briefs. These briefs are 15-minute fact and insight snippets delivered by Brad Hunter, who's the chief economist at Home Advisor, and Chelsea Butler, editor-in-chief of Kitchen and Bath Business magazine. A little bit about Brad. He spearheads Home Advisor's analysis and tracking of housing markets and the home improvement industry using proprietary data from Home Advisor. With nearly 30 years of experience in housing market forecasting, Brad is a member of the Urban Land Institute and has authored numerous articles and chapters in books for ULI, including Market Profiles. He is regularly cited in local and national journals and has recently been featured in the Wall Street Journal, Bloomberg News, and CNBC. Chelsea Butler is executive editor of Kitchen and Bath Business magazine, the official publication of KBIS. A celebrated journalist, Chelsea and her team provide in-depth coverage of the industry, events, products, and news through the magazine, its digital platforms, and social media sites. Everyone, please welcome Brad and Chelsea.
Hi, everyone. We're going to get started. So Brad, can you tell us a little bit about how Home Advisor gets the data?
Sure. I'm privileged to be able to look at nearly 15 million data points every year. And the way we get our data is through our network. People are coming through our network to find pros to do various home improvement projects. And we get 15 million of those requests each year. So I'm able to cross-tabulate all the data according to region or type of home improvement project. It's about 500 different categories of home improvement project that we track. So it's really a powerful database.
Okay. And then into the design and construction trends. When remodeling a bathroom, what are the biggest requests from homeowners today?
Well, kitchen and bath together are the #1 categories for home improvement, and I want to show a couple statistics here from our data. And we're seeing big increases in both both kitchen and bath, and the largest increases are tile and sinks, especially sinks. It's kind of an upgrading trend that's taking place right now. What's happening is a lot of consumers are at this stage feeling wealthy enough and have enough equity in their homes to improve their homes by upgrading to better fixtures, better appliances, better faucets, better sinks, and so on. And so they're adding to their lifestyle that way. We've seen a doubling of the amount of home equity that people have in this country in the last 4 years. And that is driving a lot of this new activity and these upgrades that are taking place. And I want to show you also some of the other categories that we're tracking in our data. We see that disability-related improvements are on the rise, and we're expecting to see a lot more of that as we go forward and more of the baby boomers get into their 50s, 60s. And another category that we see growing quite a bit is the toilets. And so I guess people are taking their home equity and running to the bathroom. Well, yeah, this presentation's going to go down the drain real fast if I keep up with these puns. So I better put a lid on it and plunge ahead. So some of the other kitchen categories, well, we'll talk about those in a minute. But I want to ask you, actually, Chelsea, what are you seeing and what are you writing about in your magazine? What are your writers talking about in terms of bathroom trends, especially the master bathroom?
Okay. I think that really all depends on how a homeowner wants to use that particular space, whether they want to get in and out, whether they want to spend some time in there really decompressing. I think There's probably a bunch of you out there who are strictly shower people or strictly bathtub people. But what we are seeing is more of a draw to a spa-like luxurious experience where, you know, technology is incorporated in terms of the number of shower heads that one wants to use, chromotherapy, aromatherapy, sound, heated floors, things of that nature. You know, if homeowners have that kind of a thing in their budget, they're really wanting to go all the way with that particular space and really make it more of a lifestyle room.
Makes sense, yeah. It's kind of in line with what I was talking about, people feeling wealthier and having that equity in their homes, so they're going ahead and kind of making those lifestyle adjustments and improvements, right?
Right. So we'll switch over to kitchens. In terms of countertops, what are you seeing as the most popular materials people are specifying?
I'll show you some statistics here. I just happen to have a slide here. And so we see that there's been a continued fast growth in laminate countertops, natural stone up 18%, solid surface up 13%, and engineered stone up 8%. And the other thing that we're seeing is solid surface is up very strongly, but what we're seeing is actually a decline now in stainless steel and concrete countertops. And let me kind of turn it back to you. We're talking about kitchens. I know you write a lot about what kinds of cabinetry people are looking to put into their homes. And I've noticed in my travels that white cabinets have become in vogue. Is that still the hot color, or are we seeing, you know, what other stylistic trends are you seeing in the kitchens?
Yeah, I mean, I for one am really tired of seeing just all white kitchens. I'm sorry. I mean, it's been a big trend for years now, and while it still definitely is the choice of color for most homeowners, gray is making a huge, influx into the industry, and people.
Are you saying gray is the new white?
I think
okay.
so, yeah. And people are, if they are wanting to break up these big neutral colors, they are using splashes of colors and such things as appliances, backsplashes, the island. So, and I really like to see that kind of thing, because that really kind of differentiates one kitchen design to the next for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Where, of course, right now the big hot buttons are contemporary and transitional styles. Right. And one thing that I've noticed is kind of this commercial style in the appliances, like the ovens with the great big knobs that look like the ones in the commercial kitchens.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So what's your take on homeowners? Are they more concerned with aging in place or universal design these days?
Well, yes and no. We're seeing more of the aging in place, or as we like to call it, thriving in place, because we're trying to kind of get past the stigma that people have. A lot of people say, I don't want to put in, grab bars and, those ugly kinds of improvements that make my house look like an old person's home. And so there's that resistance. So, one of the things we're trying to do to kind of get people over that hump is to recommend improvements that appeal to people of all different ages. For example, there's a bit of resistance to people, upgrading their homes with aging in place types of improvements or thriving in place improvements, because they don't want their house to look like an old person's house. But they can do things that don't detract from the look of their home. For example, lever doorknobs, those appeal to people in a wheelchair, but they also appeal to somebody that's in their 20s or 30s that's kind of trying to back through a door with a tray full of food or holding a child or whatever it might be. Pot fillers is a great example too, where you can just kind of pull down a lever and fill your pot right on the stove instead of having to fill it from the sink and move it over. Those kinds of things are types of things that we're trying to get more into the conversation, kind of just move the conversation past just sort of ramps and grab bars. But so far, we're still seeing that the majority of home improvement pros are only doing less than 10% of their work for aging in place types of improvements. So we expect to see that number increase greatly in the next few years. So let me ask you a question, Chelsea. What about multi-generational? Are we seeing more people doing either adding improvements to their homes, or the home builders building homes that are more suited to the multiple generations in a home?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, despite the fact that people might not want to talk about aging in place, sometimes you just absolutely have to. If there are multiple generations in a home, and you have to really take into consideration how all of those generations are going to use the space, you have to think about maybe either, building from scratch a bedroom and a bathroom on the first floor for people who have trouble going up the stairs, remodeling in the future to make sure that can happen. Simple things that, can be done, or adding a comfort height toilet, zero threshold showers, which are actually very trendy right now, really good looking grab bars, things like that. These are all things to definitely take into consideration. So.
Yeah. I think we're just about out of time, but the last comment that I'll throw out is we're seeing more of the larger projects, and some of the reports coming out of some providers like Home Depot and so on are supporting this, that people are doing more of the whole room or even whole home remodels. So you're seeing these bigger kitchen remodel projects instead of more of the piecemeal projects that we were starting to see, back when the economy was weaker. Back just as we were coming out of the recession, a lot of people held off and deferred maintenance, and now they're kind of catching up, and we're starting to see people kind of turn on more of these large-scale projects.
Okay.
And so I think that's about it. I'll turn the presentation back over, and thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Nice to see you.